dealing with sketch diagrams and trigonometry, let's look at this example. So if sine p equals to -3/5, with p being an element of angles ranging between 0 and 270, and cos q equals to 4/5, with q being an element of all angles ranging between 180 and 360. Determine cos q minus p without use of a calculator. Now, dealing with this, the first thing that I need to do is to draw my sketches. So I need to draw my diagrams, sketch my diagrams, but I will sketch my diagrams from the information that has been given, from that equation with that restriction, this equation, that restriction. So each equation has to have its own diagram. If you are given one equation, then you need to draw one diagram. But in this case, if we are given two equations, then we have to draw two sketches. So the first one, now drawing this, I need to look at my restrictions. The first restriction is I need to find where sine is negative. So I'll draw my quadrants. This is my first, second, third, fourth. So I need to locate where sine is negative, because the equation says sine p equals to a negative, or a ratio there. So if it's a negative, sine is negative in the third quadrant and in the fourth quadrant. And then the next thing that we are saying that is p has to lie between 0 and 270. So if that is 0, that's 90, 180, and that is 270. So p has to lie between 0 and 270, between 0 and 270. So it should either be in the first quadrant, second quadrant, or the third quadrant. So I need to get a suitable quadrant for both restrictions given. And the suitable quadrant will be the third quadrant, because the third quadrant, this is where sine is negative, and also this is where p also lies, because p lies between 0 and 270. So since both of the restrictions are suitable in that quadrant, therefore this is where my diagram will lie. So I'll draw my diagram like that. Please make sure that your triangle is always on the x-axis. So your triangle should be drawn given the x-axis being the base of the triangle. What I need to do is to name my sides. So how do I name my sides? I'll check my ratio that has been given. They're telling sine p equals to that. So I know p is that angle created there. And then sine is, since it's sine, p equals to 3/5, which is a negative, then this becomes my opposite, and this becomes my hypotenuse, because sine is opposite of hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always positive, so the negative will apply on the opposite side. So if this is p, then the opposite side is -3, and then the hypotenuse will be 5, something like that. The next thing that I need to do is to find the other side. The other side, which is the adjacent. How do I find that? I will use my Pythagoras theorem. So I'll come and say, I know x squared plus y squared equals to r squared. My x squared is what I'm looking for. Then plus y squared, which is -3 squared, equals to r squared, which is 5 squared. That is x squared plus 9 equals to 25. Take 9 the other side. 25 minus 9, x squared equals to, it is 16. And then square root both sides, x would be plus or minus 4. But since the triangle is on the left hand side of x, that means on the negative end of x, therefore x will be a -4 in that case. So this will become -4. Then that is the diagram for the first equation. For the second equation, okay, this is the second diagram. I'll draw my quadrants. Then I need to locate where cos is positive, because the ratio given is positive. So cos is positive in the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant. And then where is q where do we find q? Q lies between 180 and 360. If that is 0, that's 90. That is 180, that is 270. So q lies between 180 and 360. So 180 and 360. So meaning from 180 and 360, our suitable quadrant will be quadrant number 4. So I'll come there and draw my line to say this is where the triangle lies, and then it will go straight to the x-axis perpendicular at 90 degrees. So I'll say this is q, and they're saying opposite of q because this is adjacent of hypotenuse. So that is the opposite of q, therefore the adjacent will be that, which is 4, and it's positive in that case. And then here that will be 5. That's theorem to calculate for the other side. So squared plus y squared equals to r squared. What is x there? It's 4 squared plus y, which is what I'm looking for, 5 squared, and y squared equals to 25 minus 16, which is y squared equals to 9. So square both sides, y will be plus or minus 3. But since y, the line is below, or the vertical line is below the x-axis, or it's in the negative end of the y-axis. If this is the y-axis, this is the positive end, it's negative end. So if it's a negative end, therefore y will be a negative 3. So this becomes minus 3. The signs are very, very important, very important. Right, so now let's move on. The question says, determine cos q minus p. Right, so how do I determine that? The first thing I need to do is to say cos q minus p is a compound angle. Since it's a compound angle, I need to use my compound angle identities. So I'll take it to cos q cos p plus sin q sin p, and then from there I need to find what is cos q from my triangles. Cos q from the triangle where q is given. So cos q will be 4 over 5, which is my adjacent to the triangle over hypotenuse to the triangle. So it is 4 over 5. Next is cos p. Cos p, I'll go to the triangle that has p. So I'll say, what is p? Cos of p is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is minus 4 in that case, over minus 5. So I'll say times minus 4 over 5. Then plus sin q. So sin q in this case will be what? Go to the triangle with q. So sin q will be opposite, which is minus 3 over hypotenuse, which is 5. Then sin p is opposite, which is minus 3 over hypotenuse, which is 5. The next thing is to multiply. 4 times minus that will be minus 16 over 25 plus, this should give me a positive 9 over 25. Then I'll just deal with that. 25 into 25, 1, and that will be 16 plus 9. That will be, it will give me what, 7 over 25, and then this becomes my answer.